Good morning, everyone. My name is Christian Waugh. I hereby call this November code compliance hearing to order. The time is about 9:03. I apologize for the delay. We have an agenda by which these hearings run, and the next item on the agenda is the pledge to the flag, so I would ask you to join me with the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
If any person decides to appeal any decision made by the code compliance special master with respect to the matter considered at this public hearing, he or she will need to ensure that a verbatim record of the proceedings is made, which record shall include the testimony and evidence upon which the appeal is to be based.
Thank you. The next item on the agenda is approving the minutes from the October 19th code compliance hearing. I've reviewed the minutes. Are there any objections to the minutes as currently formulated? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and approve the minutes.
Staff update: abated and continued cases are listed out front.
Okay, great. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to give you just a brief introduction to the hearing and tell you a little bit about how it will work. Again, my name is Christian Waugh, and I'm a licensed Florida attorney acting as what is called a special master. It's a fancy title created by the law, but all it means is that Citrus County has hired me to preside over this hearing. When your case is called, please come forward and you will be placed under oath. If you are appearing at a hearing like this for the first time, I'll state the alleged violation and allow the county to first present its case. Then you will have an opportunity to present your case, which may include evidence if you wish. During this process, the county attorney's office or myself may have questions of the parties, witnesses, or staff. I'll ask if there are any members of the public who wish to speak, and if there are, such members of the public will have one opportunity to speak per case. Such right to speak is not unlimited, and public comment should be focused on the case and made as succinctly as possible. It is not an appropriate forum for personal attacks. In most instances, if you are found guilty of a violation, the law requires that you be given time to comply before a fine begins. You must abate or fix that violation by the date that I give you, or a fine will accrue for each and every day that you remain in violation. The law then allows Citrus County to impose that fine as a lien on all of your real or personal property, and the county may foreclose on that lien or seek a money judgment against you after the lien has been recorded for 3 months. This is important because I may not give another date to appear before me, and therefore you likely will not have another opportunity to plead your case or to explain why you didn't follow the county code. In all cases in which I find someone guilty of a violation, I will impose all costs required by county law. If you fix the violation in the time allotted, that cost will remain minimal. If you do not timely fix the violation, you may be responsible for additional costs, as well as the cost of the lien imposed. If I find you guilty of a violation and allow for a continuance of your case, you'll be required to return on another date. In the time between hearings, I'll require that you comply with the county law in order to consider that the violation is fixed. If your violation is not resolved by that next date, I may keep the fine going for each and every day of the violation from today's date forward. Your failure to return on the next date may be deemed as evidence of a failure to cooperate with the county. Are there any appeals of orders to demolish? No. Ladies and gentlemen, you do have the right to appeal any order that I make today as provided by law. Thank you very much.
First case on today's agenda, Colton and Brooke Trineri. This is case number 217-1421. Code Officer Alan Jonason assigned to the case. Expert on the case, Jeff Atkins, Assistant Building Official. Page 19 of your agenda.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Alan Jonason, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. This is case number 217-1421, Buildings and Building Regulations. Chapter 18, Article 1, Section 18-8A, Permits. obtain after the fact permits for all construction or modifications of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances. The address of the violation is 12651 West Crystal View Lane, Crystal River, Florida. Property owner is Trinari Colton and Trinari Brook. I have good service via signed certified mail receipt and posting at the Lecanto Government Building. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted into evidence. Exhibit A, photo taken during an initial inspection on 24 August 2022. A screenshot from Hanson reflecting existing permit, and photo from my final inspection conducted on 15 November 2022. Exhibit B, a copy of the notice of violation, a copy of the notice of hearing, and a copy of the signed certified mail return receipt.
What is Hanson?
It's our system to verify permitting.
Okay. Is there anyone from the public who's going to want to speak on this case? Let the record reflect that there's no response. Who has access to the Hanson system?
I believe all county employees.
Okay. Without objection, what's been proposed as exhibits A and B are evidence.
On 24 August 2022, I received a complaint from the Building Division and conducted an initial inspection and observed that the property was in violation. I verified in Hanson that no permits had been issued for the structure that was on the property, and a notice of violation was issued for ATF, which is a violation of the ordinance listed above. On 4 October 2022, I conducted a compliance inspection via Hanson and saw that no permit had been finalized for the structure. As of 15 November 2022, the property remains in violation with no movement on the permit, and the structure is still on the property. Representing the Building Division is Jeff Atkins.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Jeffrey Atkin, Assistant Building Official. Carl Jones sends his regards. He's unable to attend this morning.
Oh,
That particular property contains a utility structure, shed, without a permit, without benefit of a permit. No permit has been pulled for that structure. A single-family dwelling permit was applied for. It was issued. A temporary power pole was installed and was inspected. At this time, there has been no progress, and it has been greater than 180 days without a completed inspection, which violates the Florida Building Code Residential.
all right. Let me just make sure I understand. So, the issue here is that something that required a permit was put onto the property, and it still exists, and it still doesn't have a permit.
Correct, sir.
Never had a permit.
Correct, sir.
And the structure in question is the like outdoor barn.
Utility structure is
Utility
what the
structure.
Florida Building Code would consider it. That could be a garage, a shed, a barn, a pole barn.
Why is it called a utility structure? I'm just
It falls under a non-habitable space like a shed, a garage. It doesn't have to meet the requirements.
oh,
of,
so when it says utility, it doesn't mean like power or water. It just
right.
means it's like
multiple use.
a utility player, like
Utilitarian
a base,
structure.
Okay, gotcha.
Mhm.
I was getting hung up on that.
Yeah, it's okay.
All right, let me just take a look through the. I may have questions, but I just want to look through the evidence here.
Yes, sir. And to clarify, the Hanson system is utilized by a number of departments within the county, but citizens can also access through the website
Okay.
and can view the status of permits. They
And
can't
I could
view a
look it
lot
up
of
here
info.
if I wanted.
Yep.
Okay.
Mhm.
If what you're saying is true, I have no reason to believe otherwise, but what's the relevance of having a temporary, you said there was some kind of a temporary permit or
A
pole?
permit for a single-family dwelling was
Okay.
pulled and was issued. So they are authorized to build a house or dwelling on that property. As part of that permit process, a temporary power pole is applied for and utilized for construction purposes, hence temporary. That was obtained to support the construction of the single-family dwelling. No construction has progressed from this point on. So the site does have power.
Okay, it has power, but the dwelling hasn't been
Nothing has been
Constructed.
constructed.
All right. Okay. Mr. Jonason, have you had contact with the owner at all?
I have not, sir.
Okay.
I have not.
How do you know that the structure doesn't predate your requirements for a permit?
I verified in Hampton, there would be a permit that would be applied for that structure.
I don't mean to be pedantic, but there was a time probably before you required permits to build things like this. It could have been 1950, it could have been 1960.
The structure's brand new. It is
I
brand
guess what I'm wondering is, what is your evidence of that?
The photographic evidence.
I mean, is there a before and after, or?
I do not have a before picture. But the structure is there and it was not permitted.
I actually do agree with you that I can tell it's a new structure. So, but I think from a legal perspective, what the county needs to be prepared to do in the future on this is, if it looked older, for example, if I couldn't tell it was new, I can tell it's new. So I agree. But it may be that there's a structure on a property, and this occurs from time to time, where it predates the Florida Building Code. And if that's the case, then you lose this case. Because you don't have evidence. I'm just talking about, and this happens. In fact, there was a recent case in Brevard County where they issued a notice to vacate to the homeowners based on unpermitted things being built on the property. And the homeowner got very motivated once that notice to vacate was issued to go investigate what the requirements were for the unpermitted. And it turns out that the portions of the house that were unpermitted were built in like 1950 or 52. I don't remember what it was. But it predated the actual Florida Building Code and therefore would have been grandfathered in. Brevard County made a massive mistake. They lost on appeal. So I just want, to lay the predicate and explain at least what I would look for in the future on these kinds of things.
Understood.
All right.
Understood.
What's the county's recommendation?
Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests that the special master assess a fine of $50 per day along with the administrative cost to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate the violation. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owner once they were advised of the violation. This amount is appropriate given the severity of the violation and the respondent's actions relative to the violation. We would also ask the special master additionally find that it is the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when the violation has been abated in order to allow for reinspection.
I adopt the county's proposed findings of fact, and the property owner is granted 30 days from today to abate the violation. If the violation is not brought into compliance as ordered, a penalty of $50 per day will be imposed. This fine will be recorded and will constitute a lien on the real or personal property of the owners. The county attorney's office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording. And of course, the owners would be responsible to pay all costs required by county law, which may also be filed as a part of the lien.
Thank you.
Next case on the agenda, David Smith, case number 216-2336. Code Officer J.C. Charlton. Joanna Katu is the expert, page 18 of your agenda.
We'll talk about it.
Thanks.
It's okay.
Just instructing how to get that information for you.
Thank you.
For next time with property appraiser.
Yeah. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please state your name for the record.
My name is Joe Hickey, Hickey, agent for David Smith.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
J.C. Charlton, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. This is case number 216-2336, special requirements for all accessory structures, a violation of Citrus County Land Development Code 3102A. The address is 14329 West Seashell Court, Crystal River, Florida. Property owner David Smith. Good service via posting the property and at the Lecanto Government Building. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted into evidence. Exhibit A, photos taken during an initial inspection by Code Officer Matt Hampton on April 12th, 2022, a follow-up inspection on July 25th, and corrective action inspection on October 10th, and my final inspection on November 15th of 2022. Exhibit B, copies of the notice of violation, notice of hearing, photo of the posted property, a copy of the posting affidavit that Code Compliance Officer Matt Hampton completed, and a copy of the property appraiser's report listing the property as vacant.
Ma'am, and what was your name again, ma'am?
I'm sorry, Joe Hickey?
Joe Hickey.
Yes.
Ms. Hickey. Okay. So, Ms. Hickey, I'd like to ask you to take a look at these documents and take your time. But what I'd like to ask you to do is review them and let me know if you have any objection to them being evidence in this here. Actually, by the way, Ms. Hickey, let's do this first. You said you're an agent for David Smith.
I have authorization to represent him.
And what is that authorization? Is it a power of attorney? Is it just a document?
Just a document that he gives me permission to speak on his behalf today.
And it's
for this
written and
meeting.
signed by him?
Yes, and notarized.
Okay. All right.
Might I point out that the code says you can be represented by an attorney. It doesn't
Okay.
state that you can be represented by an agent.
I am aware of it, and
Yes.
I do take that under consideration.
Sure.
All right, so ma'am, first let me ask, do you have any objection to these documents
Not
being
at all.
evidence?
Not at all.
Okay. And is there anyone from the public who's going to want to be heard on this case? All right, let the record reflect that there is no response. Without objection, what's been proposed as exhibits A and B are evidence. And Mr. Charlton, before you continue, I'm just going to review this document that I've been given
Yes,
by
sir.
Ms. Hickey. So for the record, I've been given a document that's dated November 11th, 2022, addressed to Citrus County Code Enforcement. It says it's regarding 14329 West Seashell Court, Crystal River. I, David Smith, give authorization to Joe Hickey to act on my behalf with code violations. It's signed. There's a signature for David Smith. It's printed name David Smith, property owner, November 11th, 2022, and it has a notary seal and the signature of the notary, and we'll talk about that later. All right, and I'm gonna. Are we okay to have possession of this?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. Then I'm going to. What's the county's position on it being an exhibit?
I don't know that it would be an exhibit. She's showing it as authorization for her to represent the owner.
I think it has to be because of standing. So I think it's relevant.
And I object. I don't believe she has standing.
Okay. And that's why I just want it to be in the record so that everyone knows, is on notice of what I'm relying on. I'm not going to make a ruling on standing or on your ability to represent David Smith at this point, but I'll admit it as respondents. Actually, respondents A. All right, please
All right.
proceed.
An inspection was conducted on April 12th of 2022. Photos depict a camper on vacant property. Follow-up inspections were conducted. Shows that the camper was removed. However, as a final inspection that I completed yesterday, November 15th, there are items that remain on the property, a shed, I believe a porta potty, and some other items that remain on the vacant property.
Have you had contact with the property owner or Ms. Hickey prior to today?
Yes, I have.
Okay, what's the contact been?
She came in approximately, I want to say maybe 2 weeks ago, and this code officer, Matt Hampton, was handling the case, but I walked her in. She introduced herself to me and told me what case she was on and that she was there to help the property owner move forward with getting his permit squared away.
Is there a permit for the property?
There is one applied for.
Okay,
Yes.
so it's under review. Oh, okay. Is
She'll
there anyone
address
else from
that.
the county who wishes to testify?
Land Development Director Joanna
Sure.
Cantu will address
Just don't
that.
hold the permit in, you're fine.
I wouldn't.
They did apply for a mobile home permit on October 18th. It has been denied. It was lacking a lot of items. This is way out in the Gulf, so they have to come up with engineered piers. They need stormwater, things like that. But I was very happy to see Miss Hickey this morning because I know her job is to help people through permitting. And we talked a little bit this morning. It sounds like she's ready to submit the items that are lacking. So wonderful. It is zoned for mobile homes, but it should be vacant right now
Because there's no permit.
because there is no permit at this time. But they have applied. It just was denied, and
Right.
it sounds like she's going to resubmit and get hopefully
Okay.
things taken care of.
And
Alright.
I don't believe anything's allowed to be on the property until
Absol-
the mobile home is there.
absolutely
So
not.
Even if a permit is issued. the
Correct.
owner-
It's not going to fix the shed at all. And the porta potty would be part of the permit once a permit is approved. Correct.
Miss Hickey, tell me your version of what's going on.
I was called probably sometime in July from the mobile home company, self-employed, Joe's Permitting Service.
Okay.
And they had this customer, David Smith. Could I meet with him? He was putting a mobile home out in Ozone.
So you're a fixer.
Well, I tried to.
Okay.
And so I did meet with David. I did see the travel trailer. I'm not sure if the boat was there, but the other stuff was there. And he said that he was in violation. He was dealing with code enforcement, so I didn't get involved. I just looked at the situation, took some measurements so I can start the process. Before I could turn in a permit, I needed engineer drawings, the survey with elevations on it. I have all that now. I did turn in plans. Of course, they were unsealed. I knew that. I just wanted to get in the permit line. I do have them now, but there is an issue with my site plan. For some reason, I never put steps going to it. And it's 12 feet in the air. So I'm correcting my site plan. The other thing I'm lacking is stormwater, which I did not want to spend that money just yet till I found out how big the septic mound was going to be and if we were going to have room for everything. And we will. That will be turned over to my engineer, Wilburn, and that will get handled.
Okay, so you're going to go ahead and get stormwater.
Yes, now that
Okay.
I have the size, and I'll put the step.
How much time will that take? Well, to get to the permit, I guess. Let me ask
Okay.
that first.
Mine could take maybe 2 weeks to get my storm water, and that would hold up issuing a permit till I had that and approved. I do have my revised building information. I just have to do my new site plan. That could be turned in this afternoon or first thing tomorrow morning.
1 month, 2 months?
I would say because of the holidays, can I
Right.
have just after the first of the year
Yeah.
to have it picked up and everything taken care of?
But I guess what I'm hearing is that won't fix the violation of that there's still stuff it's
The
being
shed
used.
that's there, the shed that's there, I did stop at the building department. I'll get with Carla, she's in charge of flood. And can we leave it and just have the vents for the water to run through? Or does it have to be elevated? But Mr. Atkins also made a recommendation, we might want to put it under the home, not the shed, but
Well, you
have-
might, but here's the issue is, and I guess what I'm hearing is until the principal use is established, the accessory uses like storage are not allowed. Is that
Right.
right? So not only does a permit have to be issued, but the structure has to be built, correct? Or put there.
The mobile, you mean?
Right. The mobile is supposed to be in place first before
Okay.
the accessory structure is present. Correct.
But that's the issue is that
Right.
basically you have an offending issue
absolutely.
still with the shed or the porta potty or whatever.
Well, like we discussed, when I get with flood, I'll find out how I can handle this. I will also apply for a permit for the shed, whatever they need, engineering or whatever I have to do if the homeowner is going to keep it there.
Mhm.
I just can't pick up that permit once it's been approved until I have the mobile home permit.
All right, I'll explain what I'm going to do. What's the county's recommendation?
May I ask Ms. Coutu a
Yeah.
question
Yeah.
first? Even if they pull a shed permit, the shed permit's not to be on the property until the mobile home is
Correct.
constructed, correct?
Yeah.
So it would have
Yeah.
to be
She's
removed.
aware of that. I think she's trying to get the permit in hand, so she's ready to put it in right away. But yeah, exactly.
What's the county's recommendation?
Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests the special master assess a fine of $50 per day along with the administrative costs to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate this violation. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owners once they were advised of the violation. This amount is appropriate given to the severity of the violation respondent's actions relative to this violation. We would also ask the special master additionally fine that it's the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when this violation has abated to allow for reinspection.
Can I say something?
I don't know if, well, you can,
If we can't do anything with the shed, it'll be removed in 2 weeks. After I talk to Flood,
That's exactly right.
I'll move it. It has to be gone in
That's
2
what my
weeks.
order will find. So
Yes.
what I'm going to do is the property is found in violation. I'm going to grant 60 days from today to abate the violation. If the violation is not brought into compliance as ordered, a penalty of $50 per day will be imposed. The fine will be recorded and will constitute a lien on the real or personal property of Mr. Smith. A county attorney's office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording, and the owner shall be responsible to pay all costs required by county law, which may also be filed as lien of record. So you have more than till the first of the year,
We'll get it moved.
but it is going to require that everything be fixed.
Oh,
in that time.
absolutely.
Okay,
Permit in
regardless.
hand for the mobile. Yes.
All right, good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Next case on the agenda, Desiree Rose Mariah Ambrowski, case number 217-3715, Code Officer Amy Becker, page 15 of your agenda.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
do.
Thank you. Please state your name for the record, ma'am.
Well, I'm POA for my daughter, Desiree Rose
And your name, please?
Obremski, Lenora Stanley.
Thank you.
What is your last name?
Stanley,
Stanley. Okay,
yeah,
thanks.
as in steamer. But not quite financially said that way. So,
Good morning.
Good morning. So this is I'm just looking at the agenda. Oh, those were abated cases. So there were other cases. All right, never mind. Please proceed. Yep.
Amy Becker, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. This is case number 217-3715, accumulation of junk and debris, a violation of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 20, Article 3, Section 20-31A. The address is 8 South Washington Street, Beverly Hills, Florida. The property owner is Desiree Rose Maria Ombromsky. I have good service via signed certified mail return receipt. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted into evidence. Exhibit A, photos taken during my initial inspection on September 27th, 2022. Photos taken on October 11th, 2022 at my corrective action inspection. Photos taken on my final inspection on November 15th. Exhibit B, a copy of the notice of violation, a copy of the notice of hearing, and a copy of the signed certified mail return receipt, signed for on October 15th.
Actually, hold on a second. Do you have a copy of the power of attorney?
I have it at the house. I didn't realize that I had to bring it. This is my first rodeo in this. So,
Okay.
I mean,
Well, the county's
bring it.
probably going to object to your standing, and it's kind of a concern. It may not end up being a concern based on how this thing resolves, but yeah, I mean, in order to prove you might, legally speaking, there's no difference between you, assuming your daughter's an adult, and some random person coming in trying to speak on her behalf. I know it doesn't feel that way because you're the mom, but in any event, for our purposes, that's the issue without the power of attorney.
if I may speak, she was incarcerated on a technicality
Okay.
with her PO. And so Mr. Touchton over at the detention center is the one who actually, we got together and drew up the whole POA that leaves me in charge of everything. So if there was some way to have them fax it over?
Like I said, it may or may not be an issue. I just want you to understand if this goes south, that that's an issue. All right. In the meantime, can you please review these documents and take your time? Let me know if, assuming you did have the ability to speak for your daughter, you have any objections to these documents.
Okay. No, I don't have any objections.
Okay, all right. Is there anyone from the public who wishes to speak on this case? Let the record reflect that there is no response.
Thank you.
Okay, without objection, what's been proposed as exhibits A and B are evidence.
On September 27, 2022, I conducted my initial inspection for accumulation of junk and debris and observed discarded furniture at the side and backyard in an Airstream camper with no wheels and broken windows, which is a clear violation of the ordinance listed above. As of my final inspection on November 15, 2022, there's been remarkable progress that has been made. The lawn has been mowed, that was closed. The Airstream had initially opened as a vehicle, which wasn't a vehicle now because it's taken apart. So those two cases were closed, and they're doing a great job on getting rid of the rest of it.
Have you had contact with the property owner or Ms. Stanley in regards to?
Yes, I have, and we've been open communication. She's been very civil, and they're making progress.
So you recognize Ms. Stanley?
Well, I've talked to her on the phone numerous times.
Okay. Is it your understanding that she has some possession or control over the property?
That I have not seen any documentation that she has.
From your understanding, has she arranged for the other cases to be abated? Is it your understanding she arranged for the mowing?
I don't know who arranged
Okay.
for the mowing.
Well,
I just know that it was mowed and it's below
All right.
18 inches.
So, Ms. Stanley, I think, were you the person who arranged for the lawn to be mowed?
Yes.
Okay. And did you arrange for the Airstream to be forcibly taken apart?
Yeah.
Is-
Yes. I mean, let me just give you just a brief history. Before my daughter was incarcerated, well, as she was coming home from the store, this other lady who owned this thing, I don't know how she got it on the internet
Owned
or
what
something.
thing?
This, I call it the monstrosity, this
Airstream.
The
thing,
Airstream.
yes. Placed it on her property, and there was no way to get it off. Then Desiree was incarcerated. Financially, I have 5 kids. She's in there. I've got all this other stuff going on with that financially. And so I was trying to get assistance by breaking it up, kind of like a barter system, who wanted to help me do this and get the aluminum from it to further do the rest of everything, breaking up the furniture. It's a horrid story, but it is fact. And
Well, the fact
so-
is, it's not your responsibility. And
know.
I mean, I understand.
Yeah, but
But-
once on her property, it becomes, and then once, what I'm saying is the person who actually owns this thing, once it was on her property, I was told it was hers. And so this other person has basically backed out of responsibility and left it with my daughter and with myself because I've become the POA to try to handle while she's in there.
Ms. Becker, what remains in violation on the property? I see from the photos that, there appears to be the wreckage of the Airstream.
It would be the wreckage of the Airstream the wreckage of the Airstream needs to be removed, and there's a sofa on the left side of the property leaning against the home. And once those are gone, unless I missed something, did I miss something in the back? And I don't think I did.
When have you ever
Then it
missed
should be
something?
good.
When
Then
have
it
you-
should be good. So
Okay. Do you understand that?
I do.
All right. How long will it take you and or your daughter to fix the violation?
I would say the only reason I'm saying at least 3.5 weeks is because if I have to, by that time, financially put something out, it would be after the 3rd.
Okay.
And then I could do
Okay.
it better. But I'm hoping to have that done a lot quicker than that.
What's the county's recommendation?
The Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests that the Special Master assess a fine of $50 per day, along with administrative costs to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate this violation. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owners once they were advised of the violation, and this amount is appropriate given the severity of the violation and the respondent's actions relative to this violation. We would also ask that the Special Master additionally find that it's the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when the violation has been abated in order to allow for reinspection.
I do adopt the county's proposed findings of fact. The property is in violation. I'll grant 60 days from today to abate the violation. Granting a little bit more time because of the cooperation that's already occurred, the improvement that's already occurred. It seems that the parties are working together in good faith. If the violation is not brought into compliance as ordered within those 60 days, though, a penalty of $50 per day will be imposed on the property. That fine would be recorded and constitute a lien on the real or personal property of Desiree Abramsky. The county attorney's office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording, and the owner shall be responsible to pay all costs required by county law, which may also be incorporated to the lien. Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Next case on today's agenda, Jonathan Curtis Nave, case number 2166456, Code Officer Amy Becker, page 14 of your agenda. Expert on the case, Joanna Coutu.
Amy Becker, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. This is case number 2166456, a violation of the Citrus County Land Development Code, Section 4002, site development without a development order or permit. The address is 8424 West Tawny Rose Lane, Crystal River, Florida. The property owner is Jonathan Curtis Nave. I have good service via signed certified mail return receipt, and I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted to evidence. Exhibit A, photos I took during my initial inspection on June 16th, 2022, photos taken on September 30th, 2022, and photos taken on my final inspection November 15th. Exhibit B, a copy of the notice of violation, a copy of the notice of hearing, and a copy of the signed certified mail return receipt, signed for on October 12th, 2022.
Is there anyone from the public who's going to want to be heard on this case? Let the record reflect that there is no response. Thank you. Without objection, what's been proposed as Exhibits A and B are evidence. And we're proceeding under the new amended code section.
That's affirmative, and you'll
Okay.
see a copy of that notice of violation in there, and
Okay.
it's marked revised.
Thank you.
I conducted my initial inspection on June 16, 2022. I observed vacant property and a large portion of the property had been cleared, observed downed trees, researched the property, found there was no permits. As of my final inspection November 15th, there's been no change. The owner and I have emailed back and forth. He's aware of the violation. I have an expert witness here, Joanna Coutu, director.
Okay, great.
Joanna Coutu, Land Development. This is a medium density residential with mobile homes allowed. Should be a vacant property. We have no record of any development permit.
Okay. Ms. Becker, what has been the nature of the correspondence with the owner? You said he's aware of the violation. Does he concede that it needs to be fixed? Is he making attempts?
He's making attempts. So the last email I got was November 8th. And he was using Boxables before. This was a case.
Boxables?
He was using, it was called Boxables or something like that as far as a home. And he changed contractors because it wasn't, they weren't certified in Florida.
I remember
and
that.
it was going to take years.
Okay.
So he found a new company. They're called Global Modulars. He has a design and a build agreement that's not signed that he emailed me on November 8th. And his email basically said that
It's unsigned?
it is not signed.
Yeah.
It says, I'm working with them to get approved letter to finance this project. Unfortunately, I will not be able to attend due to my job as a truck driver trainer. Respectfully, Mr. Nave.
Okay. Just reviewing, trying to become familiar with the new code section here. So there is no site development plan for the clearing.
Correct.
Okay.
That is correct.
All right. What's the county's recommendation?
The Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests that the special master assess a fine of $150 per day, along with administrative costs to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate this violation. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owners once they were advised of the violation, and this amount is appropriate given the severity of the violation and the respondent's actions relative to this violation. We would also ask that the special master additionally find that it's the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when the violation has been abated in order to allow for reinspection.
What's required for a site development plan?
In this case, because it is a residential lot, they would need a residential permit and establish a residential home there.
Okay, so the reason why I'm asking this is to figure out what a reasonable amount of time is. I'm done trying to poke holes in the code. So it looks good. But I guess, so in order to do that, okay, so site development plan, we can think of it as having some components. And one of those things is the residential building permit.
Right. For this residential lot, they would need to establish a residence. They're in the mobile home zoning, so they could do a mobile home. They talked about a modular. That's
the modular
fine.
will satisfy that
Modular
if
would-
it works out.
Correct. The boxable thing wouldn't meet Florida Building Code, it sounds like, what he said, but modular, mobile, site built, any of those.
How long would it take? I mean, let's assume that it does satisfy Florida Building Code. How long would it take to establish that or review it normally?
And
on
unfortunately, I don't have a time frame for
Yep.
building division. They don't
Yep.
give that out,
Okay.
so I don't have that information.
All right. All right. Okay, I already heard the county's recommendation. All right, so the property is found in violation. I adopt the county's proposed findings of fact. The owner is granted 60 days from today to abate the violation. That's made mostly in light of the fact of the holidays. If the violation is not brought into compliance as ordered, a penalty of $150 per day will be imposed. This fine will be recorded and will constitute a lien on the real or personal property of Mr. Nave. County Attorney's Office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording, and the owner shall be responsible to pay all costs required by county law, which may also be filed as a lien of record.
Next case on the agenda, Carlos Luis Rosario, case number 217-2691. Officer Alan Jonasson, expert Joanna Coutu, page 17 of your agenda.
Alan Jonasson, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. This is case number 217-2691, special requirements for all accessory structures, a violation of Citrus County Land Development Code 3102A. The address of the violation is 10001 North Hollyoak Terrace, Dunellen, Florida. Property owner is Rosario Carlos Luis. I have good service via posting on the property and posting at the Lecanto Government Building. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted into evidence. Exhibit A, photos taken during an initial inspection on 13 September 2022, photos taken during a compliance inspection on 13 October 2022, and photos of my final inspection conducted on 15 November 2022. Exhibit B, a copy of the notice of violation, copy of the notice of hearing, a copy of the notice of hearing posted on the property, and a copy of the posting affidavit.
Is there anyone from the public who's going to want to be heard on this case? Let the record reflect that there is no response. You did an inspection on October 13th. It's Margaret Thatcher's birthday. I wouldn't expect people to be working, but
Maybe we can talk to the county commissioners.
that's a holiday at my law firm. There may not be many that recognize it, but I certainly do. It's also my mom's birthday, so that's always, it's like, should I be doing it for Margaret Thatcher or my mom? I don't know, but
That's a tough one.
yeah. Well, my mom has a strong opinion about it, so thank you. That's right. Without objection, what's been proposed as exhibits A and B are evidence.
On 13 September 2022, I conducted an initial inspection and observed the property to be in violation. On 13 September 2022, a notice of violation was issued for special requirements for accessory structures, which is a violation of the ordinance listed above. On 13 October 2022, a compliance inspection was conducted with no change to the property. I have not had contact with the property owner, and as of my final inspection on 15 November 2022, the property remains in violation. Land Development Director Joanna Couture.
Intro. It's awesome. Rural residential should be vacant. We have no record of any development permit being applied for.
Do you know how big the property is?
Off the top of my head, I don't.
Okay, no big deal. Thank you. Let me just look through all the paperwork. Would you say that there's been cleanup or improvement since you started?
Not at all.
Really? Okay.
I don't think there's been any activity on it.
Okay. Yeah, I guess that's right. It looked like from one angle that maybe there was, but I agree. Has this been used as like a special event?
I have no idea what it was used for.
I mean, is there a hunting stand on there?
There's a structure that was built with tarps around it, but I have no idea what it was used for or what they put it up for. And there's other items on the property as well.
Yeah, it looks like there's almost like a 2-story chicken coop or something.
I can't tell what it is, unfortunately.
I hope it's not human coop or something. I mean, you haven't seen any humans on the property,
I did not
have you?
see any human
Okay.
beings on the property. So.
I've seen a lot of Netflix recently, and you never know. What's the county's
It's a crazy
recommendation?
world we live in, that's for sure. Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests that the Special Master assess a fine of $50 per day along with the administrative costs to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate the violation. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owners once they were advised of the violation. This amount is appropriate given the severity of the violation and the respondent's actions relative to the violation. We would also ask the Special Master additionally find that it is the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when the violation has been abated in order to allow for reinspection.
No, this is not me.
I am going.
I'm just interested.
I am going to adopt the county's proposed findings of fact, and I'll grant 60 days from today to abate the violation. But I would distinguish it, even though a lot of people are unaware that this kind of a restriction may apply to the vacant property that they own. I would distinguish what we see on this property from some of the other properties where maybe there's just like a bench or, you know, something small. So I'll, if the violation is not brought into compliance as ordered, a penalty of $100 per day will be imposed.
Okay.
This fine will be recorded and will constitute a lien on the real or personal property of the owner. The county attorney's office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording, and the owner shall be responsible to pay all costs required by county law, which may also be incorporated to the lien.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next case on the day's agenda, Stephen W. Peterson, case number 215-8155, Code Officer J.C. Charlton, page 16 of your agenda.
Ms. Peterson, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? So
Help me God.
Thank you, sir.
Good morning.
Morning.
J.C. Charlton, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. This is case number 215-8155, accumulation of junk and debris, a violation of Chapter 20, Article 3, Section 20-31A of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances. The address is 4774 West Peters Lane, Homosassa, Florida. Property owner Stephen W. Peterson. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request it be admitted into evidence. Photos taken during initial inspection by Code Officer Matt Hampton on February 3rd. Follow-up inspections on March 7th, May 11th, July 26th, and a final inspection conducted by myself on November 15th of 2022. Exhibit B, a copy of notice of violation, notice of hearing, a copy of the photos taken of the posted property, a copy of the posting affidavit Code Compliance Officer Matt Hampton completed.
Sir, so you've sat here through a bunch of the hearings already. You kind of know how this goes. What I would like to ask you to do is just to look through these documents and let me know if you have any objection to them being evidence.
Sure.
And take your time.
Oh, that's actually not a violation. This is a violation. This is a violation. This is not a violation. I'm not sure what that is, but this is a violation. This is a violation. This is not a violation. And this was taken today. And technically sturdy, but it's not technically a violation. This is up to questionable.
Well, I'm interested in what you have to say about the exhibits, but what I'm wondering is, do you have any objection to them being evidence that I can consider for the purpose of the hearing?
What I'm missing here, and I think I just received this right now, according to my citation that was planted in my front yard without notification or warrant or an easement in the ground, which is, Mr. Juan, I love your legal mind. Love it. I've been listening to you. I'm like,
thank you.
That's the man right there.
There's a first time for everything, so I appreciate
and according
that.
to this here, it says a copy of the notice is attached herein, incorporated in this reference.
Well, listen.
I'm guessing this is the notice. There's nothing attached.
Now, Mr. Peterson, it's very important that I hear all of this, but if you remember in the speech in the beginning, what I said is, usually I allow the county to present its case first, and then I allow you to present your case. But the reason why I need you to talk to me about this, what you just reviewed, is the county is still presenting its case. Believe me, I'm going to hear everything you have to say.
Sure. And I'm not totally in disagreement.
No. I heard that. I mean, you went through it. But what I want to ask is, for example, do you have any reason to believe that the photos you reviewed are not accurate, that they weren't on the property?
Photos are totally accurate.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't have any challenge to their authenticity, so to speak?
No, they're definitely
You don't think
authentic.
they're doctored?
No, they're not doctored photos. We don't see a Bigfoot in the background or anything like that.
You want to talk about them and give me commentary about them and explain about them.
I think the photos were taken over a course of time.
Yeah, they were.
And the initial violation, like I haven't even seen it yet, but I believe the initial violations, like the first two photos or whatnot, of the boats and debris that are on the easement of my neighbor.
Okay.
Which I had a personal agreement with my neighbor Ken that I could keep stuff there as long as I maintained that easement property of his.
Well, that's fine. Again, that goes towards your defense, which I want to hear.
And then,
but I want to see if this is going to be
no,
evidence.
The photos are authentic.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not.
So there's no objection to what you reviewed in terms of them being evidence. You just want to make sure that you have an opportunity to talk about them.
Sure.
All right.
Yep.
So I'm going to let the county attorney, assistant county attorney, review the documents.
No, I didn't really use that.
Okay.
Because I think this may be the initial, July 26, whole junk debris is loose, trash in the B. So I actually know Matt.
And we talked before. Matt, I think, no, we talked yesterday, we talked before too. Before Matt actually got on site. Okay, this is the same thing I got today. But what I'm missing here, it says the above items must be stored in a closed litter container prepared to remove as solid waste. This is in August. Completely enclosed roof building, completely, all right. So, excuse my ignorance here, but what I got to move? I'm in repair, maintenance, and you should talk to other people like, hey, I got people to do this. This is my job.
Right.
So some of the stuff that are in the pictures, not all of it, but some of it, that's building materials, and I'm
Well, now, Mr.
remodeling,
Peterson,
repairing that house.
this relates to your defense, which I'm going to want to hear.
Okay.
The first step.
You just want to get those over there.
I need to understand whether there'll be evidence or not as a first step.
Okay.
So, do you have any objection to what you still have in front of you as
No.
being evidence?
All the photos are legit. I mean, that's exactly.
Okay, so that's Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Mr. Tron, do you have all of Exhibit A in your hand? All right, if you don't mind, let's have Miss Antrim look at it.
And it's not really that big of a defense. I mean, at the end of the day, either want.
You're not calling this the case of the century? Okay. Now, hold on a second.
Mr. Juan,
Now-
I love it, man.
Yeah, but what do you still have in front of you that Mr. Charlton gave you?
Okay, so I have the picture where, and I'm not.
You still have photos in front
the
of you?
illegal posted sign in my yard, but
You still have photos?
yeah, I still got one photo left here.
Okay, that's part of
when
Exhibit B.
That's when this got posted. Yes. There you go.
All right, do you have any reason to believe that the photo you just gave to Mr. Charlton is not authentic?
No. Not
Okay.
at
All right.
all. I'm still waiting on. This one's July 26.
What you purportedly have in front of you is a copy of the notice of violation that explains
Right.
the violation, a copy of the notice of hearing, which would have
And
noticed
that's this one right here.
the hearing today.
All right. You can do you need this one too?
Do you have any?
This is from Matt. Okay. He served it.
So Mr. Hampton provided an affidavit saying that he posted notice on your property,
Yes.
which you have brought generously with you. So we know that the
It's in the
affidavit is
picture.
probably accurate. Do you have any objection to the documents you just gave being evidence as well?
not at all.
And you'll have an opportunity to put evidence into the record too. It's just right now we're on the county side of the ledger. So
It's okay.
I'll wait to hear from Miss Antrim.
Actually, the county's got evidence for me on my behalf. Believe it or not. If I didn't go back to work today, I'd hang out and listen to the rest of the stuff.
Oh, really?
I
don't. It's on YouTube. They put it on YouTube,
Oh,
so
do
you
they
can
really?
just log in later and enjoy the fireworks.
Mr. Juan, yeah.
You can, yeah. You
You
can.
got TikTok yet? I don't do none of that
We
stuff.
should have a TikTok. That would be maybe a Citrus County Code Compliance TikTok.
I think we're out there enough.
Well, so like, I used to live in Milwaukee, and a lot of these code violations, stuff like that, these are posted violations of that, and as a contractor, you can go and talk to these people and whatnot, and, work out to get their stuff compliant. Does Citrus have that? I'm not sure.
We'll talk about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure that'll be something that I can get into. That's really between you and the county, but there are some things that I think we'll end up talking about. So I would just,
Okay.
I need to wait for Miss Antrim to review this.
I hate to seem so enthusiastic, but
That's okay. That's your right. It's your property.
no, I think I know. I'm pretty much sure I know how it's going to go down, and I'm
We'll see. We'll see.
more compliant for it.
Oh, sorry.
I think that's because I'm going to sell the house anyway, so my job is to get it cleaned up and everything else.
Is there anyone from the public who's going to want to be heard on this case? All right. I don't see any response. Okay.
Yeah.
So
Considering
without objection, what's been proposed as Exhibits A and B are evidence. And before you proceed, I just want to take an opportunity I want to understand before you start this
Yes, sir. An inspection was conducted on February 3rd of 2022. The inspection revealed toilets, tree debris, discarded items on the property. I have spoken with the property owner and explained the violation, and some good progress has been made. As of my final inspection on November 15th of 2022, the property remains in violation.
And I'm actually just going to review the code section very briefly. It looks like I have an updated code printout here, which is useful. This code section, for example, has been cleaned up. It looks a lot more organized in the current ordinance form, from what I remember. So just one moment. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Peterson, I'd like to hear what you have to say.
Well, do you want the elongated story or?
You have what's
Okay.
called a right to due process, which means
I don't want to waste your time.
Well, look, here's the deal. The code section is 20-31A, right? And so that code section says it's unlawful for the owner to cause or have thereon any accumulation of junk, debris, rubbish, or vegetative matter, and then it gives a bunch of exceptions.
Right.
So my question to you is there a violation? And if there is, how long will it take you to fix it? If there isn't a violation, tell me why there's not a violation.
Well, you put me on a spot.
Well, you asked me.
I know.
I'm telling you what I need to know.
Okay, so if we look at the initial vehicles that were basically allowed at one time,
Mhm.
and that's the initial photos there, I had to move those onto my property because there's 2 easements there. There's actually only 1 easement. So I had to move those off, which was taken care of. The big white trailer you see in the pictures there, a lot of that stuff came from a tenant I had that was
Well,
less.
Mr. Peterson, I may be able to shorten this. Mr. Charlton, are those a part of the violation anymore?
We have it for junk and debris, not vehicles.
All
not
right,
on
you
that
don't
side.
have to even address that because that's not a part of the charge, so to speak.
All right.
Okay.
So the junk and debris that was in the front of the house, that's been removed. I think you can attest to that. The stuff that's on the side of the house, I'm in the process right now of remodeling. That is now construction material.
All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at the photos that were taken yesterday.
Okay.
And
And I could probably shorten you up a little bit. 90 days of the first of the month with Service Faster, or the first of the year.
okay.
It'll be gone.
But you've raised a point that I think we're going to have to address, which is the extent to which there are, I guess, construction materials you're talking about.
Right.
Because I need to be able to understand whether those are a part of the violation or not. Because if we end up 90 days from now, and I think they're a part of the violation, but you don't, we could have a misunderstanding. So I want to make sure that
Sure.
I'm able to make a ruling. So I'm looking at the photos from yesterday. Mr. Charlton, you took these, correct?
Correct.
Yep. And one thing I see is a boat on blocks. You're telling me that's not a part of the case.
No,
Okay.
and some of those photos were taken up front there to show, and I explained to him yesterday, there has been good progress.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I can see the difference.
And
But page 10 of 12 in Exhibit A shows me a photo of the front. I'll show you guys what I'm looking at. Just give me 1 second. It's this photo. Just do your best to see it if you can. It appears to be of the front door.
That's what you took yesterday.
correct.
Yeah. And so if you don't mind, you might want to go back to the microphone because it won't pick your voice up. It's just important for the record that we hear what you say. So there appears to be a little boat in the front. Is that a part of the violation?
No.
All right. Are the things on the porch a part of the violation?
No.
Is
That
there
pho-
anything in this photo
No.
that's a part of
And
the violation?
again, those photos were
Okay.
taken because we try to show,
Yeah.
okay, here's from
The
this
progress.
stage and this
Yeah.
stage, and there's
and
progress.
I just want to make sure I know what I'm doing.
Yes,
so I'm now moving on to page 11, which appears to show, and you may need to come up to view it real.
I see the blue tarp.
Okay.
And
So-
that's construction material next to, that's behind the house, actually.
And
So I pull the blue tarp over because I need to dry out for a painting job I'm doing.
Well, I see a lot of stuff there. So I see a old hot tub, I think. I'm not sure.
Current hot tub in progress.
Current hot tub. So it's a non-functional hot tub.
Yeah, it's getting moved to the back of the house, yeah.
All right. And then there's a plastic chair. There's
broken furniture in the back. And
right. I
stuff.
see a lot of stuff behind it that appears to be debris.
Those were the violations.
Yeah, that was the stuff that was in front of the house that I had to move out of the way. I just couldn't get to the dump because my
All right,
truck's
then,
in the way.
then we're in agreement on that.
Yeah.
Then the only issue remaining on this page is the stuff that you have draped a tarp over. Is that construction material? or not?
Yes. There's
What is the material that
it's,
you have covered?
4x4s, 2x4s, white PVC plumbing. It's laying up next to my pop-up camper. And the only reason my tarp is there right now is because I was trying to dry it. That tarp used to be in the front of the yard. I just pulled it there so it can dry out a little bit.
Mr. Charlton, is the non-functional hot tub a part of the violation?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So we need to make that functional.
We have
Yeah,
so we have
that's
two.
what I'm talking about.
Well, and Mr. Charlton, I mean, I assume that it's the county's contention that the stuff that is underneath and next to the blue tarp is also a part of the violation.
Correct. Yes, sir.
All right, so we have a dispute. Let's look very quickly at section 20-31.
Because also in that picture too, there's a pallet of cement block on a pallet.
So the definition of junk that's really the key here is what constitutes debris and junk. So I'm going to read the definition of junk. Junk shall mean any abandoned property, construction and demolition debris, litter, waste materials of any kind, used or unserviceable automobile or machinery parts, used or non-functional furniture or appliances, or used and non-functional tools, equipment, and implements, but shall not include compost piles for normal personal commercial use in their proper location. And I'm going to read the definition of litter. Litter shall mean any garbage, rubbish, trash, refuse, can, bottle, box, container, paper, tobacco product, strap yourselves in, tire, appliance, mechanical equipment or part, building or construction material, tool, machinery, wood, motor vehicle or motor vehicle part, vessel, aircraft, farm machinery or equipment, sludge from a waste treatment facility, water supply treatment plant, or air pollution control facility, or substance in any form resulting from domestic, industrial, commercial, mining, agricultural, or governmental operation. You're now reconsidering whether you actually want to sit through these hearings.
No, I'm learning a lot.
Debris, let's talk, what does debris mean? Debris shall mean material which is stored externally, exposed to the elements, and is not otherwise completely enclosed by a walled, roofed structure, and shall include but is not limited to the following: discarded household items, inoperative machinery, appliances, refuse, rubbish, trash, or junk, scrap or discarded lumber, pipe, steel, plastic, glass, paper, cardboard, plumbing fixtures, and other building materials. So, Mr. Peterson, one thing that I think is clear from the definitions, we have two areas of disagreement. One, I'm capable of making a finding on quickly based on the definitions,
Sure.
which is the non-functional hot tub is a part of those definitions because it's non-functional machinery. So that fits under both the junk as well as the debris. Now, you could make it functional. You can make it
Yeah, I'm
operative.
not going to split hairs on it.
No, but I mean, well, I'm saying you could. There are things you could do,
Yeah.
but it's not there. And so, what I'm not sure yet is the building or construction materials. And so, I just want to.
Well, may I propose something?
Yeah.
Can I propose that the stuff on the left side of the house that we see there. You know, the extra because that's all gonna go anyway. Maybe in, 90 days or the first of the year, continuance, I'd be happy for an inspection like once a week or 2 weeks, just so we're on the same page. So I know what to do, and the county is
Okay.
good with what I'm doing.
Okay.
'Cause I want to comply because eventually I want to get this house on the market.
I don't think it'd be hard at all to bring this into compliance.
No,
I mean,
it's
this
just
is
time and money, which I have either one, but either that's what I'm thinking. By the
all right. Then
at least I can make some progress.
Then let me ask, what is the county's recommendation?
Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests a special master assess a fine of $50 per day along with the administrative costs to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate this violation. This amount was selected on the actions of the property owners once they were advised of the violation. This amount is appropriately given to the severity of the violation and respondents' actions relative to this violation. We would also ask the special master additionally find that it is the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when this violation has abated to allow for reinspection.
So what's interesting is the county has gone out of its way to provide me evidence that you've improved the property. So I'll tell you what, a lot of code compliance and code enforcement folks do not do that. You go to the city of Orlando,
and I'm asking
good
the
luck.
county come inspect me.
No, you go to the city of Orlando, good luck. So what I am going to do is I am going to find a violation. Okay, and I'm going to find that it is based on what's been shown on pages 11 and 12 and what the county believes the violation is. In other words, what's shown on those photos, basically. Okay, I'm going to grant 90 days to abate those violations, which I hope, based on your testimony, is more than enough time.
I think that's workable.
And I'm also going to, let me give it in terms of the formal language I use. I adopt the county's proposed findings of fact, referencing specifically pages 11 and 12 of Exhibit A for the basis of the violation. I'm granting 90 days from today to abate those violations. If they are not brought into compliance as ordered, a penalty of $50 per day will be imposed. That's the lowest fine I impose, which is what the county recommended based on your cooperation. This fine will be recorded and will constitute a lien on your real or personal property if it comes to that. The county attorney's office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording. And again, if it comes to that, you'll be required to pay all costs required by county law, which would be incorporated into the lien. But that's it.
I think that's fair, and it can be add on there that we have either you or Matt, swing on by and just make sure I make a
they have that discretion, so
Okay.
I'm not going to make that part of the order.
I don't want that $50.
We're not going to shape the date of their inspections, but I appreciate it. Thank you, Mr. Peterson.
Thank
All
you.
right, thank you, Mr. Juan.
That's it.
Next case is on the agenda. Adrian Anakoy, case numbers 217-2851 and 217-2853. Code Officer Alan Jonason, assigned to the case page numbers 7 and 8 of your agenda.
Alan Jonason, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. I have 2 violations on the property. Case number 217-2851, accumulation of junk and debris. A violation of Chapter 20, Article 3, Section 20-31A of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances. And case number 217-2853, excessive growth and accumulation of vegetation. A violation of Chapter 20, Article 6, Section 20-60 of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances. The address of the violation is 3442 East Deer Run Lane, Hernando, Florida. Property owner is Inokaway Adrian. Posting the NOH, I have good service via posting the notice of hearing on the property and posting at the Locanto Government Building. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted into evidence. Exhibit A, photos taken during an initial inspection on 13 September 2022. Photos from my compliance inspection on 4 October 2022. And photos of my final inspection conducted on 15 November 2022. Exhibit B, a copy of the notices of violation, copy of the notices of hearing, a copy of the posting affidavits, and a photo of the notices of hearing posted on the property.
Are they identical exhibits for each case, or are the photos different?
They are different.
Okay, all right. Is there anyone from the public who's going to want to be heard on this case? All right, well, we'll call you up. I just wanted to know. Thank you. Thank you. Without objection, what's been proposed as Exhibits A and B in case number 217-2851 are admitted as evidence, and also without objection, the proposed Exhibits A and B on case number 217-2853 are admitted as evidence.
On 13 September 2022, I conducted an initial inspection and observed the property to be in violation. On 13 September 2022, a notice of violation was issued for junkyard conditions and excessive growth and accumulation of vegetation, which is a violation of the ordinances listed above. On 4 October 2022, I conducted a compliance inspection and observed that the property remained in violation. I have not had contact with the property owner, and as of my final inspection on 15 November 2022, the property remains in violation.
All right, let me just look through these and then I'll ask for the public input. I have to say that the exhibits look pretty straightforward in terms of proving the case. I'd like to invite members of the public to come forward and speak.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Can you please state your name?
My name is Janice Jorstad, and my husband and I own the property directly next door.
And how do I spell your name, ma'am?
Jorstad, Jorstad.
Is that like Nordic or is
Yeah,
it is?
Norwegian.
Okay, great.
So this property has been in shambles, I know at least 5 years. And about a year ago, I thought I had the letter with me. I wrote the owner a letter and asked him if he'd please check it out. I think he lives in Coconut Creek or something like that.
It's not occupied by the owner?
No.
Okay.
Supposedly he sold it to somebody else. I'm sure it's just a paper deal or
Oh, interesting.
rent to own, something like that.
Do you know how to pronounce the owner's last name?
I was, no, I don't.
Okay, I was just curious.
Do you?
No, I don't. It looks like Gaelic or something to me, but I really don't
I
know.
don't know. But I understand there was been a couple other complaints. And we basically are curious, what's the process and how long before, something can be done? Because I know it's been 5 years or more, and it's just gotten continuously worse. Our tenant right next door said she's now got rats running around, and she's got them in her house now, because there's just a tremendous amount of
So
junk.
you're the owner of the property next door, but you
Yes.
don't reside in the property.
No, that's a tenant of ours, and
And-
she brought it to my attention about the rats
When did the tenant bring that to your attention?
within a month.
Do you remember around when that was?
I don't, I'm sorry.
I mean, would you say it was 6 months ago, 3 months ago?
I didn't ask her when the rats started. We went over there and.
Do you remember when it was reported to you, I guess? I'm just trying to get a time frame in my mind.
Probably 2 weeks ago.
Okay, okay.
That she reported.
Is it just rats? By the way, I'm not saying it as if that's a light thing, but did the tenant report anything else?
Just that she wished that somebody would do something.
Okay.
So we're kind of curious what the process is from here.
Well, you're about to find out.
Good.
I mean, I'll tell you, I am going to find that the property is in violation. The county's presented in what I consider an airtight case. The photos are very clear. No one has come from.
I was disappointed that he didn't answer my letter,
Yeah.
Because I told him I was going to contact the county if I didn't hear from him. It was November of 21 that I wrote him the letter.
Well, accountability is not always something people are interested in, but nonetheless, I have to provide a reasonable time to fix the violation unless there's a health sanitary concern. I mean, I think you've expressed a concern, to be honest. It's not the same kind of a concern as like a waste concern if there's like human fecal matter or something around, which is literally dangerous. But I think the county is very concerned about vermin as well. Mr. Jonasson, were you aware of the vermin issue? Or?
I was not.
Yeah. I have no reason to doubt what you've reported on behalf of your tenant, which is hearsay, but admissible in a quasi-judicial proceeding like this. So basically, I have to allow a reasonable amount of time for them to bring the property into compliance, and if they don't, a fine begins to accrue daily. And then the county has an option. It could foreclose on the property. It could seek a money judgment. Those are the hammers, but that's within the county discretion, and I have nothing to do with that.
I know recently the county removed a mobile home on Bear Lane, and the whole area was just JoJo.
After the hearing, I'll explain to you the next step after
Okay.
this process.
Okay. All right, great. What's the county's recommendation?
The Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests that the special master assess of $100 per day along with the administrative per violation, along with the administrative cost to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate the violation. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owners once they were advised of the violation. This amount is appropriate given the severity of the violation and the respondent's actions relative to the violations. We would also ask the special master additionally find that it is the respondent's responsibility to notify the Code Compliance Division when the violation has been abated in order to allow for reinspection.
Mr. Jorstad, I should have asked, do you have anything else that you want to say?
No, we were just hoping that something would
Yep.
move along.
Okay. Well, had I not heard from you, I would have followed exactly everything the county said. I am going to find the property is in violation. I will grant 30 days from today to abate the violation. If the violation is not brought in compliance as ordered, a penalty of $300 per day will be imposed. This is made based on the testimony that there really could be a health issue and a vermin issue on the property, so I'm elevating the fine. This fine will be recorded and it will constitute a lien on the real or personal property of the owner. The county attorney's office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording, and the owner shall be responsible to pay all costs required by county law, which may also be filed as a lien of record.
And was that 300 per violation? Because there's two violations
Good point.
for the property.
I'm glad you brought that up. Let me look at the photos again. Mr. Johnson, is it your belief that as of... Yeah, no, I find it. All right, I found it. Yes, it'll be $300 per day in each case. 30 days in each case to comply. And I don't know where I was on that. I think I'd finished it.
You'd have.
So, yeah,
Yes,
all
sir.
right. Thank
Yes,
you for
sir. Thank you so
asking
much.
me that.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next case is on the agenda. Thomas Wayne Kane, case numbers 217-4414 and 217-4480. Code Officer Amy Becker, pages 4 and 5 of your agenda.
Amy Becker, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. Case number 217-4480, excessive growth and accumulation of vegetation. A violation of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 20, Article 6, Section 20-61. And case number 217-4414, accumulation of junk and debris. A violation of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 20, Article 3, Section 20-31A. The address is 3 North Lee Street, Beverly Hills, Florida. The property owner is Thomas Wayne Kane. I have good service for both via signed certified mail return receipt and posting of the property. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted to evidence for both case 217-4480 and case 217-4414. Photos taken during my initial inspection on October 11th, 2022. Photos taken on October 25th. At my corrective action inspection, photos taken on November 1st showing the posting of the properties, and photos on my final inspection November 15th, 2022. Exhibit B, a copy of the notice of violations, a copy of the notice of hearings, a copy of the posting affidavits, and a copy of the signed certified mail return receipt signed for on November 2nd, 2022.
Is there anyone from the public who's going to want to be heard on these cases, either one of these cases? Let the record reflect that there is no response. Thank you.
Thank you.
On October 11th, I conducted my initial inspection for accumulation of junk and debris and excessive growth and accumulation, and found a pile of vegetative matter in the backyard, a sofa in the backyard, and some other debris. And as of my final inspection on November 15th, there's a chair in the back, a pile of vegetative matter to the right, and still some overgrown, over 18 inches in the front on the right side. I have spoken with the owner. He's aware of the violation, and he's burning as we speak. He's going to clean it up. That's what
That's his testimony, or that's what he told you.
That's what he told
Okay.
me.
What's the county's recommendation? And actually, exhibits A and B in each case are admitted as evidence.
Thank you. Regarding, in reference to case number 217-4414 and case 217-4480, the Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests that the special master assess a fine of $50 per day per violation, along with administrative costs to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate these violations. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owner once they were advised of the violations, and this amount is appropriate given the severity of the violations and the respondent's actions relative to these violations. We would also ask that the special master additionally find that it's the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when the violations have been abated in order to allow for reinspection.
I adopt the county's proposed findings of fact. In each case, the property is found in violation, and in each case, the owner will be granted 30 days from today to abate the violation. If the violation is not brought into compliance as ordered, a penalty of $50 per day will be imposed. That's for each case. This fine will be recorded and will constitute a lien on the real or personal property of Mr. Kane. County Attorney's Office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording, and Mr. Kane would be responsible to pay all costs required by county law, which may also be incorporated into the lien.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next case on the agenda, Teresa L. Cummings, case number 217-3764, Code Officer Amy Becker, page 6 of your agenda.
The initial agenda looked a lot longer for today.
It did, didn't it?
A lot longer.
Yeah, well,
I closed a
buckle up for
lot.
December.
Yeah.
Buckle up for December.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yes.
Commit to the whole day?
Oh, you betcha.
Okay.
Snacks.
Snacks. I mean, don't
Coffee.
joke. Yeah. Okay.
Amy Becker, Co-Compliance Officer. This is case number 217-3764. Excessive growth and accumulation of vegetation, a violation of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 20, Article 6, Section 20-61. The address is 9155 North Carissa Way, Citrus Springs, Florida. The property owner is Teresa L. Cummings. I have good service via posting of the property as well as the Lecanto government building. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted to evidence. Photos taken during my initial inspection on September 27th, 2022. Photos taken on October 14th, 2022 at my corrective action inspection. Photos taken on October 1st showing the posting of the property. And photos taken on my final inspection on November 15th, 2022. Exhibit B, a copy of the notice of violation, a copy of the notice of hearing, and a copy of the posting affidavit.
Is there anyone from the public who's going to want to be heard on this case? Let the record reflect that there is no response.
I'll walk her upside down.
Thank you. What's been proposed as exhibits A and B are admitted as evidence.
On September 27, 2022, I observed excessive growth and accumulation of vegetation. There was grass in excess of 18 inches of the property, which is a clear violation of the ordinance listed above. As of my final inspection on November 15, 2022, there's a pile of vegetative matter that remains in the backyard. I have had contact with the owner, and she's aware of the violation. Excuse me.
What's the county's recommendation?
The Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests that the Special Master assess a fine of $50 per day along with administrative costs beginning after the date you deem sufficient to abate this violation. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owners once they were advised of the violation. This amount is appropriate given the severity of the violation and the respondent's actions relative to this violation. We would also ask that the Special Master additionally find that it's the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when the violation has abated in order to allow for reinspection.
Have you brought cases on this property?
Yeah,
before?
yes. And a side note on this, there was 5 previous junkyard condition cases on this, and the 5th case was a citation. So that case is going to be heard by the judge and that's why I didn't bring it to this one and just brought the grass, because I still had to follow the procedure. So
I recognize the property.
On December 16th, it'll be heard before a judge in county court.
What kind of case is that?
A junkyard condition.
Junkyard condition. Is there any reason why you did it by a citation?
Because after there's an extended amount, I had 4 previous cases, and if it's a continuing thing, it changed every time you go there. It's changed. It's remarkable.
Well, I don't know. I'm not familiar with it,
Yeah,
so I'm just curious.
So when they reach past a point where I'm getting called numerous times, then I'm going to write a citation and take it a step further to try to get.
That permits a fine and incarceration.
Correct.
I mean, is that your discretion, or is it county policy, or is
My
it...
discretion.
I see. Okay. Are there any county policies on it, like when to do the citation? Or...
Yes, because I mean, you got to show that the amount of times you've been out there, are they, how many times they've been in violation and things like that, to liens and things like that. Is, that's our last option.
Wow.
To
Okay,
get
that makes
compliance.
sense. All right. Like I said, I do remember this property, but are you telling me that I should take into account the number of other cases that have occurred in the past or that are currently pending?
Of course. Yeah.
Okay. What's the county's recommendation again? It was $50 per day.
And I did the $50 per day because it was vegetative matter. If it was something else, I would have made it I would have made it a lot higher.
It's just barely a violation based on the photos. It is a violation. I mean,
it's a pile of vegetative matter in excess of 18 inches.
But it's like not the whole yard. It's very limited in where it is, and so I agree with your recommendation. Is what I'm saying, but I'm curious because I don't know how to take the other cases into account if the recommendation is $50 per day.
I'll make the I'd like to revise the recommendation to $150 per day.
Okay. What has the owner said about what she intends to do to fix this?
The last time I saw the owner was November 8th, that I actually physically saw her. Different people keep living there and moving in and out. Mm-hmm. So now somebody else is living there that she says is going to fix everything. That's what I'm told. So there's different people in there than the past 3 people that have been in there.
Right.
So her answer is they're going to help me take care of it.
I guess it could be a problem if you're constantly having different people in there. But landlord could arrange for a lawn mowing service as well. So, all right, I find the property is in violation. The property owner is granted 30 days from today to abate the violation. If the violation is not brought into compliance as ordered, a penalty of $150 per day will be imposed. This fine will be recorded and will constitute a lien on the real or personal property of Ms. Cummings. County Attorney's Office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording, and the owner shall be responsible to pay all costs required by county law.
Next cases on the agenda, Danielle L. and Michael W. Floyd, case numbers 217-3448 and 216-745, and 217-3448. Pages 9 and 10 of your agenda, Code Officer Amy Becker.
Amy Becker, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. This is case number 217-3447, abandoned, unserviceable, unlicensed vehicles, a violation of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 20, Article 4, Section 20-41. And case number 217-3448, accumulation of junk and debris, a violation of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances, Chapter 20, Article 3, Section 20-31A. The address is 9539 North Davie Way, Citrus Springs, Florida. The property owner is Danielle L. Floyd and Michael W. Floyd. I have good service via posting of the property as well as the Lecanto Government Building. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted into evidence for both cases. Photos taken during my initial inspection on September 21st, 2022. Photos taken on October 7th at my corrective action inspection. Photos taken on November 1st showing the posting of the property, and photos taken on my final inspection on November 15th. Exhibit B, a copy of the notice of violations, a copy of the notice of hearings, and a copy of the posting affidavits.
Is there anyone from the public who will want to be heard on these cases? Let the record reflect that there is no response. Thanks. Thank you. Without objection, what's been proposed as Exhibits A and B in each case are admitted as evidence.
On September 21st, I conducted my initial inspection for abandoned, unserviceable, and unlicensed vehicles and observed a Honda with a flat tire on the driver's side, a tire, and the bumper appears to be falling off. And I also, accumulation of junk and debris, I observed trash debris in the yard. As of my final inspection on November 15th, the Honda appears inoperable, and there seems to be trash that remains on the front yard. I see the progress that was made. I definitely see the progress. The left hand of the house was cleaned up. I see that. And I've talked to the owner. Actually, I talked to Mrs. Floyd yesterday, and I advised her I was unable to abate the violation. She's like, what trash? Well, I mean, there's a Gatorade bottle sitting there in the front lawn, litter. I mean, my response was that there's still some debris on the front lawn. She's going to clean it up, and I'm going to get out there when she calls.
What's the county's recommendation?
On case number 217-3447 and case number 217-3448, the Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests that the Special Master assess a fine of $50 per day per violation, along with administrative costs, to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate these violations. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owners once they were advised of the violations, and this amount is appropriate given the severity of the violations and the respondent's actions relative to these violations. We would also ask that the Special Master additionally find that it's the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when the violations have been abated in order to allow for re-inspections.
I'm going to adopt the county's proposed findings of fact. In case number 217-3448, the junk and debris case, I'll grant 30 days from today to abate the violation. If the violation is not brought in compliance as ordered, a penalty of $50 per day will be imposed. In case number 217-3447, regarding the unlicensed, unserviceable, and inoperable vehicle, I'll grant 60 days from today to abate the violation. If the violation is not run in compliance as ordered, a penalty of $50 per day will be imposed. In each case, this fine will be recorded and will constitute a lien on the real or personal property of the owners. The County Attorney's Office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording, and the owners shall be responsible to pay all costs required by county law.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next case, Jose D. and Belkis M. Matute. Case number 216-7453, Code Officer J.C. Charlton, page 11 of your agenda. J.C. Charlton, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. This is case number 216-7453, accumulation of junk and debris, a violation of Chapter 20, Article 3, Section 20-31A of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances. The address is 4969 South Grand Circle Terrace, Homosassa, Florida. Property owner Jose D. and Belkis M. Matute. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request to be admitted into evidence. Photos taken during initial inspection by Code Officer Matt Hampton on June 30th. Corrective action inspection on September 8th. Pre-hearing inspection on October 18th. And my final inspection on November 15th of 2022. A copy of the notice of violation. Copy of the notice of hearing. A copy of a continuance letter notifying the owners of today's hearing, copies of the signed certified mail return receipt for both the notice of hearing and the continuance letter.
Is there anyone from the public who wishes to be heard on this case? Let the record reflect that there is no response. Is there any reason why you're presenting for Mr. Hampton today? He's out right now. Okay, great. Thank you. Without objection, what's been proposed as Exhibits A and B are evidence.
An inspection was conducted on June 30th. The inspection revealed discarded items, trailers filled with debris on the property. A corrective action inspection was also conducted on September 8th. Photos depict discarded items, auto parts, household furniture, and debris on the property. I conducted a final inspection on November 15th of 2022, and the property remains in violation with junk and debris, household garbage, furniture, appliances, and on the sides and the front of the home.
Have either you or Mr. Hampton had any contact with the owner?
The owner called me this morning. I guess based on the tenants at the property seeing me out there yesterday taking photos. She stated she's still trying to work on getting them out. And
Tenants out?
Get tenants out of the home. Continuance was granted. We gave her a continuance to give her more time, but the property continues to get worse.
Would you think it's getting worse?
Yes. I was able to see some angles from the side of the home and to see the back of the home. Appears to be a lot of the debris that was in the front is getting placed in the back. Some of the pictures don't really depict it, but I could see it to the eye.
Okay. The front looks marginally better to me, but then you see all the tires and there's an engine hanging from a tree. I don't know what that's all about. But I'm interested. I'd like to know. Could be the start of something
I think
new.
they put it on an axle to lift it,
well,
as leverage to lift it out of the.
Okay, that makes sense. What's the county's recommendation?
Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests a special master assess a fine of $150 per day along with the administrative costs to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate this violation. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owners once they were advised of the violation. This amount is appropriately given to the severity of the violation and respondent's actions relative to this violation. We would also ask the Special Master additionally find that it is the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when this violation has abated to allow for reinspection.
It's going to take a considerable amount of work. I'm concerned about the landlord-tenant situation. So what I'll do is I'll adopt the county's proposed findings of fact. The property is found in violation. I'll grant 90 days from today to abate the violation. If the violation is not brought in compliance as ordered, a penalty of $150 per day will be imposed. This fine will be recorded and constitute a lien on the real or personal property of the owners. County Attorney's Office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording, and the owners will be responsible to pay all costs required by county law.
Thank you. Next case is on the agenda, James Michael McDonald and Don Wakefield. Case numbers 217-1331 and 217-1333. Code Officer Alan Jonason, page 12 and 13 of your agenda.
Alan Jonason, Citrus County Code Compliance Officer. I have two cases on the property. Case number 217-1331, accumulation of junk and debris, a violation of Chapter 20, Article 3, Section 20-31A of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances, and case number 217-1333, unlicensed inoperable vehicles, a violation of Chapter 20, Article 4, Section 20-41 of the Citrus County Code of Ordinances. The address of the violations is 4079 North Woodland Point, Crystal River, Florida. Property owner is McDonald James Michael and Wakefield Dawn. I have good service via posting the notice of hearing on the property and posting at the Lecanto Government Building. I would like to authenticate the following documents and request that they be admitted into evidence. Exhibit A, photos taken during an initial inspection on 23 August 2022, photos of a compliance inspection on 4 October 2022, and photos of my final inspection conducted on 15 November 2022. Exhibit B, a copy of the notices of violation, copy of the notices of hearing, copy of the posting affidavits, and a photo of the notice of hearings posted on the property.
Is there anyone from the public who wants to be heard on either of these cases? Let the record reflect there is no response. Thank you. Without objection, what's been proposed as Exhibits A and B in each case are admitted as evidence.
On 23 August 2022, I conducted an initial inspection and observed the property to be in violation. On 23 August 2022, a notice of violation was issued for junkyard conditions and unlicensed vehicles, which is a violation of the ordinances listed above. On 4 October 2022, I conducted a compliance inspection and observed the property remained in violation. I have had contact with the property owner, and as of my final inspection on 15 November 2022, the property remains in violation.
Is the owner shown on these photos from yesterday?
The owner is shown in the photo, sir.
Okay. What's the county's recommendation?
Citrus County Code Compliance Division respectfully requests that the Special Master assess a fine of $100 per day per violation, along with the administrative cost to begin after the date you deem sufficient to abate the violations. This amount was selected based on the actions of the property owners once they were advised of the violations. This amount is appropriate given the severity of the violations and the respondent's actions relative to the violations. We would also ask the Special Master additionally find that it is the respondent's responsibility to contact the Code Compliance Division when the violation has been abated in order to allow for reinspection.
What was the owner's response? I mean, is the owner trying to improve things? Or?
He was spirited.
He was spirited.
He was very spirited.
He looks spirited in the photos.
About his property.
Well, I guess what I'm wondering is how was he spirited? Can you characterize his communications to you?
It was
in a way that will inform me of what he said.
Yes, sir. Basically, the essence of the conversation was, can't I have anything? County's always after me, this, that, and the other. And he started cursing, and then I proceeded to take my pictures and just leave.
He didn't threaten you or anything.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay.
That doesn't happen very often.
Well, that's a relief, but did he indicate at any time that he would fix the violations?
Not so much. He indicated that he was doing the best he could.
Okay. Let me just take a look. Are you aware of other cases that have been on this property?
It did have a previous junk case that was abated.
When?
I'm gonna say a year or so ago.
Was it your case?
It was not.
Okay.
It was not.
It was my.
Was it your case?
Yeah, I think it was more.
Have you seen the photos?
It was more than a year.
Have you seen the photos in this case?
Yes.
You've been sworn in. Was the junk case worse a year ago than what we see here?
Yes.
It was?
Yes.
Right. In each case, I adopt the county's proposed findings of fact. In the case number 217-1333, the owner is granted 30 days from today to abate the violation. If the violation is not brought into compliance as ordered, a $100 fine per day will be imposed. This fine will be recorded and constitute a lien on the real or personal property of the owners. In case number 217-1331, the owner is granted 30 days from today to abate the violation. If the violation is not brought into compliance as ordered, a penalty of $150 per day will be imposed. This fine will be recorded and constitute a lien on the owner's real or personal property. The county attorney's office may seek foreclosure or money judgment on any unpaid lien of record 3 months from the date of first recording, and the owners shall be responsible to pay all costs required by county law.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that was the last case.
Yes, sir.
The time is that 10? Is it before 11?
Yes.
Okay. The time is 10:56. This hearing's adjourned.